Hello, tennis fans, and welcome to another episode, a special episode of Matchpoint Canada, the official podcast of Tennis Canada. We're also members of the Tennis Channel Podcast Network, and I'm happy to be joined today ahead of Canada's Davis Cup tie against Korea by team member and returning guest Alexis Galarneau. Alexis, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Very exciting time. It must be, especially for you, not just as a Canadian player with this tie on home soil, but also as a young French-Canadian player to have the tie in Montreal. Maybe just start by talking about the venue, the city, and having your friends and family, I'm assuming, able to watch you play this week.
Yeah, I think Montreal and the surroundings of Montreal is means everything to me. It's family, it's friends, it's my whole childhood. I grew up, the venue where we're playing this year is the National Training Center. So I grew up from 11 till 17 playing over there every day with great memories, tough practices and good and bad times. So it brings back a lot of good memories. So I'm just really excited to finally be able to play in front of the Montreal crowd in a Davis Cup atmosphere. I think that's going to be a super fun time. I actually remember in 2012 watching the Canadian team playing South Africa here, and it was great memories.
The homecoming for me too. That's where I was born and raised, so I'm excited to come back and watch some tennis at Jerry Park too. And I'm sure the crowd's going to be just going crazy for you guys. You're one of the younger members of the team, but now a very consistent presence the last couple of years on the Davis Cup squad. What does it mean to you that you continue to get the call from Tennis Canada
Yeah,
to represent the country in moments like this?
yeah, it means a lot, and I'm really honored to be, called up for now my sixth tie. Every time it's the same level of excitement for me to be able to represent Canada and to also just spend a week with my friends. I find it very gives me good energy for the rest of the season and just that week as well. So I'm really honored and appreciate their confidence in me.
What's it like being around the veterans on the team? Because I like this squad. It's got some younger members, and I mean, don't tell them I said this, but some older members, Milos and Vasek, players who you would have watched back in 2012,
Yeah,
2013. They were having fantastic seasons back
yeah,
then, already doing so much for Tennis Canada. So what's it like being around the team dads, as I like to call them?
yeah. It's we learned a ton from those guys. They're really really generous with their intels and their time. So every time we have dinners, I'm making sure to ask them as many questions as I can. Uh, they have a baggage of experience that none, the three younger guys don't have, and so it's very it's invaluable to receive their tips, and they're also really good leaders for us.
I'm sure, and you'll need them against Korea. And on paper, I know people are looking at the draw and thinking, "Oh, this is a pretty good draw for Canada." Of course, you've got to go out there, do it on the court. But what are your thoughts on them as an opponent, and also where you think you might fit in playing during this tie?
Yeah, I think South Korea is a really tough opponent. We played them 2 years ago in Valencia, and that was a 2-1 results win for us. But their number one player beat Felix and played an amazing match. So they have some really dangerous players, especially indoors. So we're gonna be ready for a really tough match. But I know we're gonna use the crowd. We're gonna use also Davis Cup moments for us to fuel ourselves and create good performances. And for me on my side, I'm prepared for anything. Obviously, I'm coming back from a injury, so I'm still getting back into shape. But whatever my captain wants me to play, what type of role he wants me to play, I'll be up for it, and I'll try to do it to my best abilities.
Good team player. I want to
Yes.
ask you as we wind down, what are your plans moving forward in 2024? You mentioned that you're healthy now.
Yeah.
What kind of events are you looking at playing? What kind of schedule have you and your team sort of mapped out for the first part of the season?
Yeah, I'm leaving, we're finishing up here on Saturday, and Sunday I'll be headed to London where I'll play my first challenger in Nottingham. And I'm continuing my Europe trip for 3 more weeks and planning to come back here in Montreal, get some more training and go out again on the road, play a lot of challengers early on in the season, and ideally start progressing into some 250s and start getting ready also for Canadian summer, which is always a good opportunity for us Canadians.
Yeah, the National Bank Open for the men will be back in Montreal, so I'm sure a very exciting moment for you coming up in August too. I'll finish with just a couple of quick Montreal questions for you. Unfortunately, no Habs games because of the All-Star game this weekend, although you're pretty busy with the tennis anyhow. But I'm guessing, like Felix and myself, you're a big Habs fan. Do you catch
Yeah,
games this season while you're back there training?
I try to. Obviously, the tickets are pretty expensive, so I can't make it a daily thing. But I always try to catch one or two games a season. I really enjoy watching it live. It's another dimension to the game that you don't see on TV. But on the road, also, I try to keep up with the results in some matches. It helps me feel like home.
We'll have to talk to Val Tetro to get you some tickets maybe next time, so you don't have to put them on your budget. I know being a young professional tennis player is difficult financially. Okay, well now that I've alienated our Toronto listeners, my apologies, and go Habs go. To wrap up, you had mentioned to me you might recommend some Montreal dinner spots while me and Ben are in town, taking Match Point Canada on the road for this tie. So
Yeah,
I'm waiting to hear one or two places that maybe we should check out.
yeah. Well, I think you definitely gotta hit up Schwartz, famous
Smoke
smoked
meat.
meat. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. Also Montreal Bagel, Saint Viateur, I think is a must. But those are just some little snacks that you can't go wrong with. And yeah, I'm sure that we're known for good food, so you
I,
guys eat well.
I can't wait. The bagels aren't the same here, and my wife is expecting me to bring home at least a dozen. So we'll see.
Big
It,
expectation.
it, it could listen. No smoked meat sandwiches for you before you step on the court.
No,
Okay.
for celebration only.
Okay. Look forward to that. Alexis, bonne chance. Thank you for taking the time. All the
Thank you
best
very
to
much.
you and Team Canada this tie and moving forward this year.
Thank you.